What is up, world? You are in tune to the Know It All podcast. And of course, you got the usual suspects plus some. With us today, man, I got, of course, Big G. Big G, how you doing, man?
What's cracking lacking, fellas? We trying to do this live thing and get it popping for the mock draft of 2023. So let's do what we do.
Yeah, man. Tate, how you doing? How you feeling?
Ma, what's up, man? Just backstage trying to keep you jokers in line, man. I ain't having no success, so I give up.
Absolutely none at all. I like to I like to introduce our guests, man. Of course, I'm gonna start from left to right. We got B Dirt, of course, a friend of the program, one of the homies. How you doing, B Dirt?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Glad that Tate will not only be the only unbiased panel member here today. I'll bring some unbiased opinions myself to keep you and G in check.
Mainly G. Mainly G. You got to.
Oh no, you have no Texas bias, Mod. We were just arguing about barbecue in the back. Come on now. Always biased. Texas,
Always.
Texas.
Hey man, and then of course we got BP Pepper Pike, man. What's good? How you do?
Hey, it's good to be on with you guys. I'm obviously from the Clear Cavs loss earlier today. It was a tough day. First picks here in Cleveland, so
Yeah, lost you for a second, man, but we glad to have you on the program. And we got Rod Simpson. What's good, man?
Hey, what's going on, brothers? Just glad to have the opportunity to be on the show with you guys. Looking forward to this nice NFL draft 2023. So let's get it done.
Man, I'm excited, man. I'm going to tell you something. For real, for real. Payday, of course, we got Payday. What's good, Pay?
What's happening, Mod? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about the 2023 draft, man. I think in a lot of areas people are going to help themselves. But before we get into it, man, I definitely want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those notifications and know that we are here, man. We're going to ready to jump into the draft real quick. But before we do, we're going to do this. And again, you are in tune to the Know It All podcast, man. And look, so we're going to get this thing just popping right out the gate. We're going to introduce the draft order and let you know who's going where. G, give me the draft order. You got it going. Who's number one on the clock right now?
Number one on the clock. Let me hold on one second. I got to minimize my screen, man, because I got a lot going on in the backdrop. But give me 1 second.
My time, man.
Well, I'll just tell you, like he said the other time, I'll tell you the first pick of this draft is going to be Pay, and Pay is picking, he's on the clock, he's picking for the number one pick here, and the number one pick is Carolina. So, Pay, man, talk to me, man. You ready for this already?
Yeah, it's a tough decision coming out of Carolina for what we're going to do here. We've been debating, juggling around, tossing numbers back and forth, tossing names back and forth, interviewing. And I think we weren't ready to settle on our number one pick. Fingers crossed, we're going to take Bryce Young.
Ooh. Wow. So with the number one pick, the Carolina Panthers is going to take Bryce Young, man. So he is now off the board. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask B-Dirt, what do you think about this pick?
I mean, Glass Joe, I don't think he's big enough to play in the NFL. I think you're going to see some issues with longevity. I think he's a very good thrower of the football. I think he's got some definitely good talent. I think the experiment of having undersized quarterbacks just over with. I'm done with it.
Wow. So that you mean you're talking about Kyler Murray down at Arizona? That's one of your prime, and Tua, correct?
Tua definitely. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. I mean, the only outlier that jumps off the page. What's recent? I don't know anybody that's recent that's 6 foot. You got to
Yeah.
go way back to Drew Brees,
Yeah.
right? And he's what, 6'1"? That's 3 more inches. 3 more inches is a
think
lot when you're throwing over an offensive line.
I think you're being very generous by giving him 6'1". Very generous. Maybe 5'11". I think you're being very generous.
I think he was 6. He was over 6 foot.
Okay, all right. And Rod, let me ask you, and then we'll move on to our second pick. What do you think about this pick, man?
I think. Oh man, I tell you this. I like him. I think he'll have success at the next level. It's just, you got to put the pieces around him. I just don't think Carolina has the pieces around him for him to have success right now. I would have liked him to go to the Colts. I think that would have been a good pick for him because the Colts got pieces around him. As a rookie quarterback, you got to have a good running game. You got to have some good receivers. Carolina don't have that right now. I just think the Colts would have been a perfect destination for him to have success. He has the knowledge. He understands the game. I'm not worried about his size. I just think the coach would have been, you just got to put the quarterback in a position for him to be successful. So,
Yeah, understood.
You don't trust Miles Sanders as the running back there this year?
No, Miles Sanders, he disappointed me in the Super Bowl. So, at that big stage, he couldn't do anything. So I'm kind of glad that, I'm a Cowboys fan, but, I'm kind of glad that the Eagles got rid of him.
Oh, yeah, he stopped me from hitting a parlay. I'm with you. I'm with you, Rob.
To be honest with you, if he would have showed up for the Super Bowl, the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl.
Well, let's go into this. Let's go ahead and jump into our second pick. Our second pick, we've definitely got on the clock here. We have the Houston Texans, and Tate is actually picking for the Houston Texans. Who do we got, Tate? Here's your pick.
Man, I'm not wasting no time like y'all jokers did with all that right there, man. CJ Stroud. That's it. That's all. Peace.
Wow. Okay. CJ Stroud is who the Houston Texans take off the board. It's an interesting pick, man. It's a very interesting pick. G, give me something on this, man. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, as much sense as it actually makes that they are taking that pick at number 2, I really do believe that the Texans is going to do something dumb and pass CJ Stroud and not pick a quarterback at number 2, because that's what we're hearing in all the pre-draft rooms, the rumbling and all whatever else, that they're not sold to take a quarterback at pick number 2. I think they would be foolish, and I really do believe Stroud deserves to be the number 1 pick of this draft. But, that's Houston. That's what they do. But they should take Stroud because he's the best pro-ready quarterback out of this year's NFL draft.
And BP, man, talk to me. What do you think? What do you think about this pick, CJ Stroud?
Yeah, I agree with Big G on this. Maybe I'm also an Ohio State fan. My son goes to Ohio State, so I've seen basically all of their games. I'm a huge CJ Stroud fan. I think Carolina's making a mistake by not taking him number 1 because he's got the size. He, balled out against Georgia, and he's done well in the bowl games, in my opinion. So I seeing Baker Mayfield up close, he was too short to succeed in the NFL. So I believe in a guy's got to be at least 6'2", 6'3" to succeed. So I like CJ Stroud, definitely for Houston, but I thought he should have been the number 1 pick.
Wow. Okay. So on the clock, we have got the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals on the clock. Whose pick is this, G?
Rod Simpson Jr.
Rod Jr. So who we got, man? Junior,
I'll tell you
talk to
right.
me.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not gonna waste no time either. I'm going with Will Anderson Jr. for the
Great
Cards.
pick.
Wow.
Great pick.
Wow. Will Anderson Jr. is the pick here, and we're taking him off the board for the Arizona Cardinals. Um, so I'm gonna talk to this one, man. I really, if we were doing this with trades, I see the Cardinals, man. They really would have to fall back for me, right? And I think somebody would probably draft up or go up to actually take it. But hey, good pick nonetheless. Good pick nonetheless. Tate, what you think about this pick?
Well, I jumped in and said great pick. I mean, I agree with you though. I mean, they could certainly drop back at least to 4 at the very least with the Colts, because the Colts is going to take a quarterback, and they have the leverage of being in the 3 spot for people that want to come up ahead of the Colts to get the quarterback they want
Yeah,
between Will Levis and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
absolutely. And
What
that was my thought on that whole thing. And being that I'm on the clock right now, I am on the clock, and I'm not gonna waste no time. I'm with you guys. I'm actually gonna select with the 4th pick of this draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson,
Ooh.
quarterback out of Florida. I
Ooh.
think Anthony
Ooh.
Richardson is the better quarterback in this draft, and I think he may end up being the best quarterback out of this draft. The measurables are off the chain. Arm is a rocket. The only thing that I think that it's a little different with Anthony is the accuracy. That'll come if he gets the coaching, right? I think that'll come if he gets the coaching. Talk to me, man. Pay, talk to me. How you feel about this pick?
I think it's a good pick. The best player available will be Will Anderson. They're not in the need for a quarterback. They need defensive players, and they need generational talent on that side of the ball. And Will Anderson looks like he's going to be both of those for them. So great pick.
I'm talking about for Anthony Richardson for the Colts.
Oh, Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Yeah, again, they need a quarterback, and he looks to be one of those really athletic projects that can build into something that could be a top 5 quarterback. So, only question I would have with that, do they have the infrastructure to help build up a quarterback like this? Because make no mistakes about it, Anthony Richardson is a project, but he's got attributes that puts him at this level right here, right now.
Right. And the next pick on the board is for Seattle. And Seattle needs a guard, a center, a D line. And making the pick for Seattle is who?
Me.
BP.
Yeah.
BP
Okay.
and Pepper Pike. Talk to me, man.
Yeah.
Who is Seattle picking in this draft?
Now, Seattle's current quarterback is Geno Smith,
Yeah.
long time, journeyman quarterback. I thought Seattle was going to take Anthony Richardson, but you beat me to it. So I've got Seattle taking the next best quarterback, Will Levis of Kentucky. Yeah, because I'm not sold on Geno Smith as a longtime starter. He did a pretty good job this past season, but I think Will Levis, in the combine, his arm looked fantastic. So
It did. It actually did look fantastic, though, and I agree with you. Talk to me, B Dirt. Talk to me, man. How do you feel about this pick that Seattle made?
I like the pick because I think we've seen some Will Levis athletically, arm talent off the charts. There's been some reading defense issues and some of that kind of stuff. And he can have a veteran that can be there for a couple years that he can sit behind and learn. There's no stress or need to put him in right away. I think it's a really good situation for both him and the Seahawks. So I think it's a win.
Okay, definitely. So Rod, let me ask you, man, while we're here, before we jump to the next pick, which is going to be Detroit. Detroit is on the clock, and who's picking for Detroit?
Yours truly.
Okay, yeah. So get ready, B Dirt. But go ahead, Rod. What do you think, man?
I would have liked Anthony Richardson with the Seahawks, but the Colts, I think that's a perfect destination for him. I believe that the new head coach they have had a big part in developing Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, correct?
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect place for Richardson to go for the Colts. Now with Levis from Kentucky, he reminds me of the kid that Tampa Bay drafted a couple years ago, a year ago.
Task out of Florida.
Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. I just don't think that he's going to be that guy. I think that you'll see Seattle look for another quarterback next year.
Wow. Okay. All right. So on the clock right now, we've got Detroit, and we got B-Dirt picking for Detroit. Detroit needs a wide receiver, tight end, and a defensive lineman. What you got, B-Dirt, man? Talk to me, man.
So, I could go cornerback here. I have a feeling the team might go cornerback here, but to quote my colleague from the Homies Pay, there are two generational defensive players on this draft class, and I can't let them fall through the cracks. Give me Jalen Carter, defensive tackle.
Ooh. Nice pick, man. Yeah.
So I have a really tough question, and I know who to ask this question to. Kevin Tate, let me ask you a question, bro. When it comes down to this, bro, with what's really happened here recently with Detroit and their wide receivers, and some of them being let go for gambling, do you think Detroit should take a wide receiver at this pick?
Detroit picks again at pick 20. They can get at least the number 2 or number 3 receiver at that point. I think there's no way you pass up the best player in the draft. And to pair Jalen Carter with Hutchinson, who they drafted last year, was defensive rookie of the year. I mean, now you're starting to build. Detroit's problem was defense last year. That was their problem. They was giving up a lot of points early in the season, especially. They started to come around late. But yeah, they traded, they signed Cam Sutton in free agency. They have Hutchinson, they picked up Carter. I wouldn't be surprised if they go defense, and with the next pick too. But yeah, you don't pass Jalen Carter. This is a great pick, B-Dirt. He's the best player in the draft.
Well, okay, so Jameis Williams is out for 6 games this year behind gambling. So, Pay, you agree, man? You take Jalen Carter and pass up a wide receiver?
Super agree.
Can I defend my take too?
The Detroit Lions has a terrible track record with drafting receivers in the first round. Don't go ahead and make that mistake just because a couple of guys was on Bovada doing too much. Go ahead and get the best player. Go ahead and get the best player in the draft. Who if all things was being equal, could have been a top 2 pick. Yeah, so him being at 5 is a major win for Detroit. Great pick.
The deal said Carter has bust written all over him, both lack of effort on and off the field. No thanks. That's a tough one there. Go ahead, B-Dirt.
So Marvin Jones is the 3rd wide receiver. He's one of only 3 wide receivers over the age of 30 that had over 500 yards receiving last year with Thielen and D-Hop. Then you have Amon St. Brown's an easy number 1 there. So you got to fill that hole for 6, right? I don't even know. We'll see what happens and how this shakes up. We're going down to 18. I don't even know that I'm going to have to be pigeonholed to a wide receiver there. I might wait until the 2nd round, get somebody that can fill that 4th or 5th spot when Williams does come back.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think a wide receiver would go before pick 11. I mean, that's the earliest.
See though, we're about to see. Tate, we moving that way. We moving right on that way. So Timothy Lyons said they could find a wide receiver in the cereal box. Wow. Okay. All right. There's a lot of wide receivers, and I think most of them have a 2nd and a 3rd round grade. But on the clock now is the Raiders, and who do we have picking for the Raiders right here?
That'll be Big G going back to back with the Raiders and the Falcons.
All right. So talk to me. You on the clock? Who does the Raiders got?
The Las Vegas Raiders, with their pick, will pick cornerback Christian Gonzalez, Oregon.
Ooh,
Christian. That's a good pick from the man talking about himself in 3rd person.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
I like him too. He was definitely in consideration at 6 for the Lions for me.
Mm.
Tate says he liked Christian Gonzalez too.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me a little bit of your own medicine right there, Big G, with the third person.
Yeah, we love the third person talk for sure, Tate, but no doubt. But I think Christian Gonzalez is the top 2 or 3 talent in this draft. And I mean, so I think the Raiders will be super pleased if he falls to them at that pick. Because why would you not take a guy who's 6'2", 205, 210 pounds, 4'3", and got a wingspan, an 80-some inch wingspan? This kid's all-world corner, and it's going to resemble Sauce Gardner at the next level.
So yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about this because Thomas said, "Oh my God, give us that over 30 wide receiver stat again, B-Dirt."
So it got me looking at what D-Hop was worth. He played only half the year at 31 years old going into the season. So last year, over 30 wide receivers. He played half the year, had over 700 yards, played 9 games. So Adam Thielen had over 500 yards, and so did Marvin Jones. Those are the 3 guys over 30 that had over 500 yards last year.
And they'll all be in new places next year, right?
Marvin Jones is in a new old place.
Yeah, Detroit. Back to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Afton said my favorite player in this draft, talking about Christian Gonzalez. And Timothy Lyons said, I actually agree with Big G. Dope pick there. Dope pick. All right. So on the clock, we have got G for his second pick here with the Atlanta Falcons. With the number 8 pick, the Atlanta Falcons are going to select who?
Well, this is where I shake up the draft. The Atlanta Falcons got a lot of needs, but I think they're going to try to build something with the 11 personnel that they got going on down there. So I think the Atlanta Falcons run up to the table with the card of Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Wow.
Bias. Put your bias sign up, Big G.
Get the Crayola out.
So let's go ahead. I want first and foremost, I want Pay and Rod to talk about this. Rod, give me what you think about this pick, man.
Man, that's a shocking. I'll tell you that. I would have went with Robinson to be honest with you. I would have. Yeah, I would have took him.
Okay.
Jackson Smith, I just don't know how he matches up with the kid that they already have there. I just don't see that.
Drake London.
Yeah, London. I just think that they're the same type of guy.
Well, wide receiver is a definite need for him, Rod. Pay.
It is. I just think that you could have got a receiver later on in the draft. I would not have got Jackson Smith with the 8th pick.
Absolutely, Rod. You're right, man.
Pay's in the Bears locker room right now. Let's come live from there.
Talk to me, man. What did you think about that pick? I saw you shake your head and put your head down for the Jackson's pick. Why do you think that was a good pick, or why not? Why didn't you think that was a good pick?
Listen, as you said, wide receiver is a need for Atlanta. And, I think G is putting on the Atlanta hat in which they do confounding things in the draft. They're one of the guys in their front office used to be the general manager for the Bears. And
correct.
He drafted Mitch. So, enough said. However, I think we all understand.
He traded up for Mitch.
I think we all understand. I think we all know what happened here. G just wanted to say Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I agree with Pay.
I agree with that, right?
Now,
he would have got a chance if he waited to his next pick, which is 8 picks from now. He would have got a chance. So this is what really happened here.
I wasn't biased, man. I wasn't biased. I promise you, I wasn't biased. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Jackson Smith-Njigba.
And no
okay. You're going to get one. You're going to get one either this year or next year. But we're going no trades because in all reality, Atlanta would have traded up. When the minute they saw Stroud fall from not going number 1, everybody and their mama's moving up to get. And Atlanta's one of those teams. Las Vegas, Atlanta, possibly Indianapolis.
Trying to trade with Arizona.
They're trying to get up as fast as they can to get it. So stuck at that position, I'm building 11 personnel. So when I do get my quarterback, I'm ready to roll.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So in the war room already, we have got Chicago on the clock. Chicago absolutely traded the first pick and got some extra draft equity here. Hey man, talk to me, man. Who are we looking to draft at the 9th pick?
We keeping Mr. Skoronski in the Chicagoland area. Bring him on to Hallis Hall.
I love it.
Great pick.
I love it. I love it, man. I think, having the opportunity to get an extra lineman and helping Jalen Hurts, helping your quarterback at this point is a big priority. BP, what do you think about this, man? What do you think about this pick?
I think it's a solid pick. It's never sexy to take a big offensive lineman, but that's how these teams are built, from the inside out. So I got no problem with it.
All right. And B Dirt, man, talk to me. How do you feel about that Peter Stronsky pick?
I personally, and this hurts me to say as a Michigan fan, but I think Paris Johnson's probably a better fit. I do like I'll put Paris Johnson in at tackle, but Skoronski, local kid there, Northwestern, can be flexible, move inside, can fill in at tackle if you need to. I think there's an argument to be made for it, but I would have took Paris Johnson.
All right, definitely. I hear that. Tate, you on the clock with the Eagles pick here at 10. They're in need of a wide receiver, guard, center, defensive lineman, and a safety. What are we looking at?
All those positions you named, I think they have fill-ins coming in. They got the kid Nakobe Dean coming in. Middle linebackers replace who they lost. They got Jordan Davis come in and replace Big Hargrave that went to San Francisco. Thank you. They could use a receiver, but they can get that later. We talked about the receivers. I think Philly is a top 3 NFC team. They playing with house money. They lost Miles Sanders out the backfield. I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Bijan Robinson out of the University of Texas with the 10th pick.
Wait.
Hey, I'm applauding it. I'm applauding that pick. Yes, sir. Good
I
pick.
hear that pick.
Good
So
pick.
let's talk about. I saw Rod first. I saw you nodding your head. Talk to me. Why do you like that pick for the Eagles?
Man, look, you gotta ride the wave. What hurt you last year at the end of the season? Your running game. I'm telling you right now, this kid is generational talent. He's gonna be huge at the next level. And I'm telling you right now, with this pick, the Eagles will go to the Super Bowl. Again.
Wow. I'm hearing. Oh, that's a tough talk there. B Dirt, talk to me, man. How you feel about that?
There's been a lot of talk about Henry going to the Eagles. We were talking about it before we came on the show. I like this fit a lot better. This is somebody that's more comfortable running those RPOs, a little more explosive. If you start keying on Hurts out of those, I think it's a great pick. I'm not sold that that's what the Eagles are going to do, but I love the pick.
Absolutely. So let's move on. We got on the clock right now Tennessee, and Tennessee needs a wide receiver and an offensive lineman. Who's picking for Tennessee at this point?
That'll be me.
All right. So Thomas said Bijan in Philly keeps me up at night. As a Cowboy fan, I would agree. Just totally agree. So at number 11 pick, talk to me, Rod. Who you got, man?
Rod, you're on mute, bud.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. They need a receiver and an O lineman. Back when their offense was clicking, they had a good receiver, which they traded away to the Eagles. So with this pick, I'm going with Quentin Johnson from TCU.
Ooh. Wow.
Nice pick. They probably would have took Jackson Smith and Jigba if somebody didn't take him way too early.
I would have.
That's correct.
Nice pick.
Big G took him.
Tate, spot on.
So Tate, go ahead and talk to me since you jumped in first on this. Why do you think that's a nice pick for Tennessee?
Because they need weapons. I mean, at 11th pick, you got 4 quarterbacks already gone, so I don't see them going a quarterback that early. Their defense is pretty solid. They got the cornerback they drafted, I think, last year, maybe the year before, that was hurt all year. That's coming back, so they got like a number 1 corner coming back. So yeah, the offense needs juice, man. I mean, I think they probably gonna roll with Tannehill one more year. You got AJ. No, you don't have AJ Brown anymore. You have the kid they drafted from Arkansas last year. What's his name, Big G?
I can't even remember his name.
Trayvon Burks.
Trayvon Burks,
Yeah,
wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, they drafted him last year, so I think he's their number 1. They need a number 2, and Jigba can play in the slot where he's probably best suited. The best slot receiver in the draft, definitely. Or he can play on the outside.
I'll tell you another thing here, Tate, to your point. I think wide receiver, as I said in one of our previous shows, falls off after about the 4th wide receiver that comes. There's only about 4 guys, maybe 3 that could actually be number 1s. This kid's one of them.
Yeah,
you got to look at it. AJ Brown. No, when AJ Brown was with Tennessee, I mean, he was just that physical, just dominating type of receiver. You know, Quentin Johnston, he reminds me. If you put him in that same situation, he reminds me of he's a bigger AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown like 6'1", Quentin Johnson 6'3". So I mean, he's definitely I think he'll have success.
And he's faster than AJ Brown.
Exactly.
Yeah, he definitely is. Texas boy, Temple, Texas boy. Claude Bishop said 2 receivers will go before him. But we're gonna get on the clock now. Houston is on the clock. Houston, they addressed their first need by picking up C.J. Stroud, so they're still in need of a wide receiver, a center, and a defensive lineman. Who's picking for Houston at this pick?
That would be you or my Bill.
So let's think about this, man. To me, you know, the best route runner in this draft to me is JSN. JSN's the best route runner. I think, you know, one of the most undersold wide receivers was Quentin Johnson. Quentin is one that he could play the X, the Y, and the slot. He could take the top off the defense. And to me, you know, I thought he's a poor man's version of Mike Evans. And I really believe that he's got that type of ceiling. So when you look at it from Houston and Houston's perspective, I mean, they need somebody on that defensive line who's dynamic. They got some young bucks. You know, receiver, there's really nobody here that I'm like, oh, this guy could really help. And they went ahead and they picked up Dalton Schultz, which is a little help on tight end side. Nobody here that I'm like, oh, this guy would definitely really go with Nolan Smith. And they went ahead and they picked up Dalton Schultz.
Nolan Smith, you said?
I picked Nolan Smith for the Texans.
Wow.
I like that pick, Ma. I like that pick. I'll tell you why when you get.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely let you go. Go ahead.
Nah, because the new coach, what's his name?
From San Francisco, either
DeMeco Ryans. The new coach is a defensive guy from San Francisco. He probably wanted to take a defensive player with number 2, but the value was there and they needed a quarterback. They had to take quarterback. So I think to come around and get the guy that tested the best at the combine and was a proven star at Georgia, I think yeah, you get that guy on defense. Now you got your piece on offense to build around and your piece on the defensive side to build around.
Yeah, and he's a Swiss Army knife. You can do a lot with him. He can be a defensive end and he can run back and be a linebacker as well. So I mean, I like him in that place. Big G, talk to me. What you had a reaction about this too? So you talk to me.
Well, I mean, you drafted a franchise quarterback at 2. If you can't get a weapon for him, you got to get something to protect him. And there was a guy sitting there named Paris Johnson that I know that Houston will run the fastest 40 on record to get that card to the podium. The draft, the protection at left tackle for C.J. Stroud. But I understand the thinking or the ideology that you get your pieces on both sides to build your franchise around. So I get it.
I hear that. On the clock, we have got the New York Football Jets. And who do we have making this pick?
Me, BP.
BP, talk to us, man. What you got?
Okay, well, the Jets, I'm going with the best player available on the board, and I'm going with Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, edge. He actually is rated as the 5th or 6th best prospect in this draft. So he actually was rated higher than Nolan Smith as a better edge rusher. So obviously the coach of the Jets is Robert Saleh, defensive-minded coach. So I got the Jets going with best player available, Tyree Wilson.
Love it for real. That's a great pick. Talk to me, B-Dirt, man. Tell me what you think about that pick.
I think if this draft falls the way it is right now, the Jets would dance to the podium to take Paris Johnson Jr.
Oh, wow.
They need a tackle really bad. All things are pointing to them having a 38-year-old quarterback. Let's not get him hit.
I hear that. Pay, let's talk to you, man. What do you think?
I agree with B Dirt. I think an opportunity was missed to not shore up that line because, as he said, they're about to have an ancient quarterback, for this year and possibly the next year after that, and then they'll be back on the board again for another quarterback. You might as well go ahead and get that anchor on the line, sooner rather than later.
Understood.
Just to add, the Jets recently drafted, Becton, Mekhi. I think his name is Mekhi Becton, very high. Yep. So that's why I didn't, pick an offensive lineman here because they already spent a lot of draft capital on Becton, I think 2 years ago.
Understood. I can see the pick. He is the best player. Tyree's the best player on the board. I think Tyree probably should have went earlier, and where he went is pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good thing. We got the Patriots on the clock. Who's making this pick?
That'd be me.
All right. So talk to us, B-Dirt, man.
Again, I'm looking at what this simulator here says: quarterback, tight end, edge. I don't think there's a quarterback worth taking here, or tackle or edge. I don't think there's a quarterback. I'm in that situation. I could see them taking a tackle. I've been beating the drum for Paris Johnson, but I also look at their defense, and I can't turn a blind eye here to Devin Weatherspoon.
Ooh.
Got to take him.
So we got Devin Weatherspoon coming off the board for the New England Patriots. Man, talk to me, BP, man. How you feel about this one?
I'm good with it. Is that for the Patriots?
It's for the Patriots.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of cornerbacks over the years, like Stephon Gilmore and the McCourty brothers. I think they're gone from the roster, so I'm perfectly fine with a cornerback to the Patriots.
Love it. Tate, talk to me. Cornerback, Patriots. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I think that's a Bill Belichick move. I think B Dirt got in the mind of the hoodie.
The evil
Bill
Empire.
Belichick.
Yeah.
The evil empire, yeah. B Dirt playing these mind games, man. I think that's a great pick. They all like BP said, they also recently lost, forget all these kids' names, man. They went to the Chargers just like last year before. There was the Patriots drafted and groomed him. He played himself into a super huge contract.
Gilmore.
No, not Gilmore. The young guy they had.
Jackson.
They went to maybe Jackson went to the Chargers. Yeah, that kid.
Yeah, they got. I'm looking at their lineup right now. I mean, I think Jonathan Jones had a pretty good year last year. Miles Bryant, kid out of Michigan. I think this really helps shore him up. And Witherspoon also plays bigger than his actual size.
He does. And that's what I was gonna say. He's the best true corner in the draft coming out. I do think Gonzalez has the most upside. And when you look at measurables and combine results and stuff, Gonzalez is your guy. But Witherspoon was just a true football player, played in that Big Ten, shut people down, made tackles, got sacks, all kind of stuff. I like the pick.
Awesome. So let's keep it moving, man. The Green Bay Packers is definitely on the clock. They have quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, and safety. Who is actually making the pick for the Packers?
Tate Boy Fresh in the house. Do your thing,
Fresh.
bro. Yeah.
Talk to me, man. I mean, they're losing Rodgers. So what do you think?
Yeah, but I think they have belief in Jordan Love, so quarterback is definitely not something that they're looking for. They could go any number of ways. I like tight end at this point for Green Bay, but I think Green Bay wants to shore up that defense in that NFC North, and because of that, the Green Bay Packers at pick 15 select Miles Murphy, edge rusher, University of Clemson.
Wow, good pick, good pick. Pay, talk to me, man. How you feeling about that pick?
Yeah, I mean, they got to. Yeah, their defense is come back to earth somewhat in that division, and Detroit and Chicago, their offenses are trending up. Yeah, they need to go ahead and do something with that defense.
Okay, and Rod, talk to me. How you feel about that pick?
I think it's a good pick. Defensively, you got to be able to stop the other team. So I agree with this pick.
Love it. All right, so on the clock we have the Washington Commanders, used to be the Redskins, whatever.
The football team.
Football team, whoever they are.
Look at Big G salivating about 17 right now. I just want you to know that. Look, he's jittery up there. And he's like, my guy's falling to me. My guy's falling to me.
I don't pick 17. Tate Boy Fresh got 17. I go 16, so I can definitely affect what Tate Boy Fresh does. So Tate Boy Fresh is the one that's like anxious and nervous. He's like, man, please do it for me, G. Please do it for me. So it's sort of not fair that I know where he's thinking already as far as the player that he wants.
Wait, Lamar, tell him what Washington's needs are to make sure he stays on task and don't just try and throw a bomb in the thing.
Yeah, Washington needs a quarterback, a guard, a center, and a linebacker.
So there's an offensive tackle on the board that has failed that I know for a fact on all the inside draft, he's not going to fall past the New England Patriots. But if he falls to the Commanders at this pick, yeah, chalk it up. Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, Ohio State.
Good pick there, G. Good pick. So he takes Paris Johnson. All right. So I'm gonna let B-Dirt chime in because he was watching G rocking the whole time.
Hold on a second. I think G would like him at 17, but I think that Tate actually favors a different tackle here for them. Because he's been talking about having a mauler and being bullies. I don't think this really upsets Tate.
Okay. All right. And BP, talk to me. What you say? You like the pick?
Of Paris Johnson to the Commanders?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a solid pick. Very solid. Who's the starting quarterback for Washington? Is it
Howell, the quarterback of the
from
University of North Carolina. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
He kind of earned that job coming on at the end of the year.
But they also brought in the Browns' backup, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, actually, was this? Yeah. Was he the Steelers? No, that was you call it?
That's Washington.
Yeah. So on the clock right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers need tackle, linebacker, and defensive back. So talk to me here, man. Who are we going with, Tate? Tate, you on the clock. Who we going with?
Well, I know all our homies, viewers, and Steel Curtain Network support people that are here in the live chat are waiting to see what this pick is going to be. And I got to agree with B Dirt. B Dirt's partially right, but that was only because I didn't think we'd have a chance at Paris Johnson at 17. Yep. And B Dirt, I mean, Big G took him probably because he's best player on the board, but really just to throw a monkey wrench in my thing too. I know how Big G rolls, man.
Well, I think you got 3 really good options for your team.
I do have 3 really good options, and those options probably would be, like Afton said in the live chat, she thinks I'm going for Peasy Jr., Little Joey. Look, Sherry right there, Little Joey. The other option would be Broderick Jones. What's my third option? I can't. Who would it be?
Kalijah Cansey staying.
Oh no, I'm not interested in him. He don't. Great player, but doesn't fit our 3-4 schemes. Too small.
Mayer is still sitting there too, Tate.
I have no interest in Mayer.
Okay.
But so at pick 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers are. Oh, this is tough. This is between Broderick Jones and Peasy Jr., man.
Oh,
And I won't know who it's going to be till after this chime goes off. With pick 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers keep it in family, keep it in house, and take Lil Peasy, Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State University.
JPJ, love
And
it.
I tell you why.
That's a wrong answer.
I was this close to Broderick Jones, be there.
The cliff falls off of tackle by the time you come around at 32.
You're right, but I believe the team has confidence in Dan Moore. They're gonna give him one more year to be the starter. See if he improves just a little bit. See which way he's trending. So you get PZ Jr. in there with Pat Peterson, learning. Yeah, that's the pick. So in the live, thanks, Claude. In the live chat, Steelers fans, tell me what you think.
I said you got 3 good picks, I thought, but you made a great point about Cansey. I didn't think of that because of your 3-4. You're right, 100%.
Thanks,
Rod, tell me what you think, man. What I seen you look over there, man. How you feeling about JPJ going to the Steelers?
I think it's a good pick, but you got to look at it. Who's your dog on your team right now? That running back. So I think Broderick Jones would have been a good pick also, but you can't go wrong with Joey Porter Jr. So, but you know, that running back, you got to protect him. You got to give him some holes to run through. That's the thing.
I agree with you. And like I said, Broderick Jones, it was close, but they believe in Dan Moore. The Steelers, the last 7 games of the year, their offensive line and run game came together.
Yeah.
So I just think you go ahead and get that corner, that shutdown corner for the next 6 or 7 years for sure, to learn under Patrick Peterson for a year or two, and we in a good place.
Because the Steelers coming. I'm telling you, the Steelers are coming.
He said
yes,
they coming like Dion said they coming in Colorado. On the clock, we have the Detroit Lions wide receiver, tight end, and defensive line. And they already addressed the defensive line with Jalen Carter earlier in this draft. So on the clock, who we got? Who's picking for Detroit?
That'd be me.
All right. Again, you got both of these picks were yours, right?
Yeah, I'm a Bengals fan first, but Lions have a special place in my heart. So
talk to me, man. Who do you think y'all are gonna pick at this 18th pick?
So here's the thing. I've been picking who I would pick. I don't think that they'll take Carter first, but I think he's the right move. I had last week, I would have took Lucas Van Ness at this particular point, but because of that 6-game suspension, and it's also a need, and I think it's a good value pick, I'm going to address the wide receivers through the best pass-catching tight end in the draft. Give me Dalton Kincaid.
Ooh.
Dalton Kincaid comes off the board here at
TJ
18.
Hawkinson's in Minnesota. Bring Dalton in.
Oh, I see it. He comes out of 18 for Detroit. Man, talk to me, G. What do you think about this, man?
I mean, I understand because of the suspensions that's going on in Detroit, but if I would have went tight end first, there's no way I would have passed up on Michael Mayer, man. Michael Mayer is the truth, man, as far as tight end. But there's actually 4 tight ends that I like in this draft. So I like that. I think Mayer would have went off the board with Green Bay earlier, but I understand his thinking because they got to have weapons to make the offense move in Detroit. So I feel it, so I'm riding with it.
Pate, talk to me, man. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think Mayer would have been a better pick. I don't hate that pick. I think it's a good one. I slightly think Mayer is a little bit better at tight end, and just the way Detroit's moving their offense right now, I think it's a good move for them, in all things considered.
So Michael Mayer was in thoughts for me because I think he's the best all around, play in line or out or whatever. But we also already have a tight end from Notre Dame, Brock Wright, 6'5", 255, that can be that mauler. If we go 12 set, he's going to be the one crashing and blocking. So I like the fit for Kincaid to spread that offense out a little bit more.
Yeah,
I hear you,
wants to
B-Dirt. I like
maul.
it. Tom said Kincaid has way more upside than Mayer, though. So I hear him on that as well. So on the clock is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who do we have making that pick, G?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick belongs to Rod Simpson Jr.
So Rod, we're looking at Tampa Bay needs a quarterback, tight end, offensive line, defensive lineman, safety. Basically, they need prayer. So where are we going? Where are we going with this pick?
I'm gonna be honest with you with this pick. You know, I was gonna go with Kincaid, but he came off the board. They, you know, just looking back at the last year, they need an O lineman. You know, Brady did not have no time at all. But who's going to be the quarterback this year? The kid out of Florida,
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. You know, I think they're going to run a lot of plays, boot him out a lot. I think you need to solidify that tight end position, a security blanket. And I think this kid right here is going to be a nightmare matchup. So I'm going with Washington out of Georgia.
Whoa! Wow.
You actually
It's a big
addressed
shakeup.
the best of both worlds, actually, when you think about that. Because Darnell Washington is really an extra tackle in your 12 formations. And if he can catch the ball and, you know, actually have somebody who could throw him the ball, you know, definitely he'll be a force to be reckoned with. Pay, what you think about that pick, man?
Not bad at all. Like you said, depends on what they got going on underneath the center. But yeah, that's a good pick for the next whoever the next quarterback would be. Good safety valve right in the middle of the field.
Oh man, I love it. After said I love him, don't know if he'll go that high though. All right, so we have on the clock the Seattle Seahawks. Who's making this pick for Seattle?
That's you, man.
Okay. I thought so. I just had to make sure. Now, here's the deal. Somebody earlier picked a quarterback for Seattle. Right?
Yeah, that was me.
Will Levis.
Okay. Will Levis. All right. Oof. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at Geno, and I think Geno would have been. I think they would have been better going with a guard early or going with a offensive lineman early. Because really, I mean, when you're sitting and you're looking at this pick, defensively is where they fell apart last year. I mean,
hold on a second. Mod, scroll back up. What number did they pick at? The first one, 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5.
If you're taking offensive guard, you're trading out of 5 and going back.
A tackle who could play guard.
You're still trading back.
Yeah. And so, well, I agree. You're right. You guys are both right. There's value in trade equity in that.
Timestamp that.
So, I mean, at this place, I don't know that Broderick Wright can play guard, but I do know that Darnell Wright can play guard. Darnell Wright can actually do both.
Why do you know that?
Well, it's been said a lot.
Because he played left tackle 2 years and right tackle 2 years.
It's been said that a lot in practice, and it's been said that a lot in his interviews with teams. How I know that is because when his 30 interview with the Cowboys were talking about putting in and moving him over to guard, right? And he can do both. Really strong guy. But honestly, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, man, I just can't take my eye off the guy. I know he's small, but I do know that he is a poor man's Aaron Donald. I really think he'll be able to help these guys on defense. I'm going with Kalijah Kancey.
Darnell Wright, 6'6", 335. You gonna move him into guard? Big G, you're the offensive line expert here in this group, probably. What do you think?
He can because he doesn't have a super long wingspan, you know, and that's the thing on tackles. You got to have guys that These edge rushers are almost parallel to the ground when they're coming in, man. And these guys are 6'5", 275 with wingspans that are of 7-foot people. So when they're going to get their hands on you fast and they're coming in parallel. So him playing that position, he'd be fine at that because he's got good feet, but he's got really strong hands too. So he'd be okay.
Well, and Mod, I'm not asking that because I think you're wrong. I'm asking that because I never thought that, and I was curious.
No, so I mean, this is one of the
interesting.
things that you see on his report here. It says right skill set is traditionally placed on the right side, although fairly antiquated thinking. It's also wouldn't be a surprise if some wanted to move him inside. You see right tackle, guard, gap scheme, right? And like I said, on the 30-day, we had been talking to him a lot about playing guard. Although I wouldn't take him at 26, but that's a whole other thing. So Miami forfeited their pick, you know, some stuff that they were doing. Go ahead, Tate.
Nah, just addressing the homie Tim Lyons comment in the live chat. He asked, doesn't Tampa have Brake and Howard? They have Brake, but he's concussion prone, maybe a little more so than Pat Fryermuth. And OJ Howard got cut, I believe, by Buffalo last year, and now he's with the Raiders.
Timothy Lyons says he agreed. All right, so again, because of this shaky stuff that they did, they forfeited their pick. On the clock is the Chargers. Who's picking for the Chargers?
This year for the Los Angeles Chargers is BP.
BP. So they need a wide receiver, a linebacker, and a cornerback. Talk to me, man. I want to hear what you think that they would pick at that 21st pick.
I think this is like a grand slam pick for the LA Chargers, whose quarterback is Justin Herbert. I got the LA Chargers taking Mike Meyer from Notre Dame, tight end, 6'5", 250. Perfect safety valve for Justin Herbert.
That's a good pick.
Great pick.
Yep.
Great pick. Yeah, give him the applause. Great pick.
Yep. I mean, there's also been a history of Notre Dame tight ends doing well playing for West Coast teams. I think of going back in the Dave Casper playing for the Oakland Raiders. So, boom.
Love it. I love it, BP. Talk to me, Pay. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, as we've been saying his name for a while, the last 10 or so minutes. Yeah, we're surprised he sat this long, but I'm glad to see he's finally found a home right near Southern California. I think he'll do great things with the Chargers and their offense, their high flying offense.
Man, hopefully the only thing that scares me about this, I mean, he does well with getting the ball to tight ends, but Kellen Moore, man, he draws plays in the dirt. He has a joystick. I mean, you know, he's over there playing Sega. He ain't even, I mean, for real.
There's that cowboy bias coming into play, man.
Listen, Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator, and here you go. And I mean, I even asked Rod how he feels. Rod, how do you feel about Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator at the Chargers?
I don't have no comment about Kellen Moore. He ain't done nothing for us Cowboys. I mean, you never know. I think I like the Chargers. I think they got a lot of potential. I think that pick with Michael Mayer is real good, but I probably would have went with a defense. I think that for them to go to the next step, their defense gonna have to step it up a little bit more, solidify the back end.
I think they get a better value at cornerback here. And tight end, Gerald Everett played pretty good last year. I don't know if I think with Keenan Allen getting up there in age, and the third wide receiver is Joshua Palmer. I would get a wide receiver round 2. I'd take a cornerback here.
He didn't actually do that bad last year. Palmer didn't. He actually stepped up. So, Pay, I'm gonna give you some time because this is an expansive pick here, man. With the Ravens on the clock at 22. You got to explain some stuff because there's some stuff that's going on in Baltimore right now that I'm gonna tell you the truth. We got a whole bunch of unknowns. So and shenanigans going on with the signing of OBJ. So talk to me, Pay. What we doing?
So right now on the board I came into the draft, I was circling a wide receiver for Baltimore. Jordan Addison fell right to me. I was thinking about, man, that'd be perfect. And as this went along, and another player just fell down the way some more, down now right. Didn't expect him to be there. Baltimore Ravens, it's getting close to that time. They need to start thinking about replacing their tackles. Ronnie Stanley, never, because has had health issues the last 2-3 years. Can't stay on the field. Morgan Moses, he's getting a little long in the tooth. So yeah, it's a tough decision they have at 22. But I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to go ahead and go get the best receiver on the board. And I don't want to shot too far away from that. So who I would take is Jordan Addison.
All right, man. So
can I ask Pay a question?
Go ahead, Pay. Yeah.
Why Jordan Addison over Zay Flowers?
I think Jordan's better. Zay Flowers is pretty good. I think his combine has been the reason why his name has fell down a little bit. But I think Jordan Addison just plays more into what they want to do in Baltimore. Get more bigger guys on the outside. Just to make plays. Not to say that Zay can't do that, because Zay definitely, Zay doesn't have the exact same profile as far as his body composition, but he's definitely a tough receiver.
Love it.
He's more outside. They got 5 tight ends playing there that can get inside for you.
G, what you think about this pick, man?
I ain't mad at it. I mean, I think that Baltimore definitely has got to continue improving at wide receiver, but the question is Lamar going to be there to play quarterback? They got OBJ. You add Jordan Addison. Okay, you got weapons, but does the guy show up and play?
Is that almost an olive branch pick too?
Yeah,
for sure.
I like it. So on the clock is the Minnesota Vikings. I think G got this pick, man. Ain't this your pick, G?
Yeah, that's my pick, man, for sure.
All right, so talk to me, man. Who at the number 23 pick?
Well, normally
Vikings need wide receiver, defensive lineman, a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and a cornerback.
Right. So normally at this position is where you start seeing teams trade up and down because there's a player that they want that's available at that pick. And so 23 to about 31, 32 is where you see stuff start happening crazy. So since I'm going to do all that and I'm going to kick it off and just make this draft crazy the rest of the way, the Minnesota Vikings got a problem and an issue at that quarterback spot. Kirk Cousins is long in the tooth. It's time for Kirk Cousins to go. He's got 1 year left on the deal. The Minnesota Vikings select Hendon Hooker, quarterback, University of Tennessee.
Wow. Oh, snap. It hit the wrong one. It picked Chandler Zavala. My bad. So we know that was Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
That was Hendon Hooker. Sean selected Hendon Hooker here. Rob, what you think about Hendon Hooker being selected right here?
You probably could have got him in the second round. I probably would have went with a D lineman. Show up that defensive side. But Hendon Hooker, I think he's definitely, I can see him replacing, becoming the quarterback in the future for the Vikings. I think he got a lot of, his upside is great. So I like the pick.
Wow, Tate, what do you think about this pick?
I think it's just Big G being Big G. This is the equivalent to any other time at the end of our shows, a Big G burner. Big G just threw a burner in here, picking Hendon Hooker in the first round for the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm willing to put corner time on that. Hendon Hooker will be a first round draft pick.
Moss, you pay off of his quarter time yet?
I think you and Pay already did that for the homies.
Here's the deal. So yeah, I think he owes like one more corner time. But here's the deal. I can say that there's been smoke around this pick. I can't say that I've seen a couple mock drafts to where Hendon Hooker was actually picked by the Vikings because he can sit a year. and Cuzzo can get in there and underperform in the playoffs again, and it's one of those things that he could do it. I don't know if it'll happen, but hey,
I said first round, 1 through 30, 1 through 31.
Yeah, I thought Big G would have did like he did with his first pick when he took Paris Johnson. The best player on the board is Broderick Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe he would have went there, but yeah.
But
Hooker, I get it.
Do you guys feel that the Vikings can win the division?
No.
Okay. So if they can't win the division, go ahead, I'm listening.
I feel like that division's up in the air. I actually tell you the truth. Any one of the 4 teams.
I think
that division's going to Detroit.
I think it's going to Detroit as well.
I just think that, depending on injuries and just, how the season plays out, the Vikings definitely have the squad to win the division. With the pick, Hendon Hooker, the good thing about it is, he's coming off of ACL tear towards the end of the season, so he can sit. So you don't need him to come and play. And Cousins is not that bad. He just don't show up a lot in big games.
He's really good at 1 o'clock.
Right.
That's my only gripe about it. If Minnesota trying to win now, Hendon Hooker doesn't help that cause.
Yeah,
true. I can't see the new coach who went, what he go, like 13-4 last year, 12-5.
Yeah.
Not one to come back and repeat at least that success and challenging for the playoffs. They lost the first game to the Giants. But so I don't think Hendon Hooker helps that. He might help in a few years. Then help now. I think they want to pick for now.
Didn't they lose their receiver, their second receiver?
Adam Thielen?
They cut Adam Thielen.
Yeah, they cut Adam Thielen.
Ooh, so I mean,
about to trade Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and they're actually about to cut him for cap reasons. That's a good point, Pay.
They're blowing it up. So why not get the quarterback you need
Do
now?
it all.
Yeah.
All right,
So
could get a good quarterback next year too.
Afton asked if Lamar doesn't play, who will be throwing to those weapons?
They just
Pro Bowl quarterback. Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
Okay.
Hey, can I make a comment here, Mod? I think if the draft falls this way, I think right here, Jacksonville Jaguars, George Jefferson walked to this podium. They got about 5 picks here they can't miss with.
So who's picking for Jacksonville?
I am.
All right, Pay. Talk to me, man.
You didn't tell me what they so Jacksonville needs a guard, center, edge rusher, and a defensive back.
And a DB, yeah.
So I don't think there's any more reason for my man Brian Branch to still sit on this board. He should have been gone. He's an incredible talent.
Great pick for them.
And he'll come in. He'll come in and he'll make headwinds day one.
Wow. So G, I see you shaking your head. You like the pick?
Yeah, I agree because my thinking was initially to give them some offensive help, but I forgot that Calvin Ridley is coming in and coming strong, and Calvin Ridley's a 1,300 to 1,500 yard receiver, man. So I like them shoring up the defense and then to push the thing going forward to help Trevor Lawrence moving forward.
BP, you agree with the pick, man, or what do you think? Give us your thoughts.
Which pick is it? I'm sorry, which guy are we at?
With Jacksonville,
Taking
Brian Branch.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not an expert on the guy, but it sounds like a sound pick to me.
I mean, the Alabama guy, athlete. Yeah. I like it. B-Dirt, talk to me.
Safety? Is he the safety from
Safety,
Alabama?
Yep.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah, because
it can't come up in coverage on a tight end or somebody inside that slot. I mean, you look at their offense. You got Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. I think defense is the way to go. I think you had safety. I think you had edge rushers here that could be impact. I think cornerback could have been an impact here. This is a great spot for them to be in. I think Brian Branch is a great pick for him.
One thing real quick, because I've been doing some scouting for the Browns in the 3rd and 4th round, because we don't have a 1st or 2nd round pick, and there's a safety from Alabama that I really like, Jordan Battle, who is, fairly highly rated, maybe like the 80th best prospect in the draft or 70th or something like that. But But this guy is rated, the guy you guys just mentioned is rated higher than Jordan Battle. And on paper, Jordan Battle he's taller and,
more physical.
Yeah. So it's,
plays
this
downhill,
guy's got to
gets
be
in the
good.
box.
Because this Jordan Battle looks good to me on paper.
Yeah, Jordan Battle at first look, 6'1", 209. Definitely a big guy. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Earned 80+ coverage grades while playing more than 800 snaps. I think that's really good. That's really good. At Alabama.
Right. Right.
They got
So
the third round grade.
For Branch to be rated a lot higher than Jordan Battle is impressive. And so he's probably a very good value pick.
He said, Afton said Battle was impressive at the combine. Pay, you got a whole bunch of great picks. On the clock, we've got Big G. Big G, you picking for the who's picking for the New York Football Giants?
Tate Boy Fresh.
Oh, Tate is picking for the New York Football Giants. Go ahead, man. Who you got them taking? Is the wide receiver? They need a wide receiver. Desperately need wide receiver. I mean, desperately. And a center, a linebacker, and a safety. Yeah, they need a linebacker because Jalen Smith ain't doing it no more. So talk to me. Who you looking at here, Tate?
I'm just asking a question. I thought at one point, I know you were talking about Darnell Wright playing guard. He wasn't picked then?
No,
sir.
Okay, who was picked that pick?
Jordan Addison.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
that was Pay picked
No,
Jordan
that
Addison.
was Pay.
No, I picked Kalijah Kancey.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Kalijah Kancey. Okay, all right. Yeah, the Giants was a playoff team last year. They could definitely use a receiver. But I'm not gonna force it here. And just because they need a receiver to pick a receiver here, I like Zay Flowers a lot. But the true value, and they drafted one last year in the first round, a tackle. Isaiah Wilson, was it?
Yeah.
And this year they go to
Andrew Thomas.
And Andrew Thomas, who they drafted, yeah.
Left tackle Evan Neal Wright.
This
they
year,
got Evan Neal too.
Oh, they signed him from Minnesota, didn't they?
He's 22 years old.
That's Ryan. That's Ryan O'Neal. That's Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah. I think
22 out of Alabama, 6'7", 350.
Yeah.
Well, man, just to go ahead and address the defense here. I'm not going to take a linebacker, but I am going to take Lucas Van Ness, defensive end out of Iowa.
Oh, that's a game record.
Good pick to go with the pass rusher they already had coming out of Oregon.
Thibodeau.
That's a nice pick, man. That is a nice pick. G, tell me what you think about that, bro.
I think he's probably maybe the second or third best defensive lineman in this draft. And I think I would have loved to see him fall to the Steelers at 32. I was hoping you guys would sleep on him and let him drop and keep dropping. But I like that pick, man. I love that pick, actually, for the New York Giants. And they got two fearsome defensive men that are coming.
Well, they run a 3-4, so Thibodeau technically plays that outside linebacker position. This kid, Van Ness, is big enough to play on that edge 3.
Yeah.
He had 2021, he had like 7 sacks out of defensive tackle in Iowa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good call out. B Dirt. I love it.
Good info, B Dirt. Big G and Mod.
Yep.
I picked CJ Stroud, Bijan Robinson. I picked Porter for the Steelers. For the Packers, who did I pick for the Packers? I picked Miles Murphy, and then I just picked for the Giants. I picked Lucas Van Ness. I just want everybody here in its totality how I'm in my GM bag.
Wow.
You went through a lot just to make sure you pointed that out. So I'm gonna make sure that everybody did get that. Go back and look at Tate's picks. Wow, yeah. So my Cowboys is on the clock, man. Definitely.
I'm picking for them, right?
No, not at all. If I had an opportunity, this would be a pick that I would take, and I would actually end up drafting and taking a pick lower and allowing somebody to trade up. The other thing I thought about with this pick is trading up earlier. There's a couple of things that I think about this. Here's why I'm thinking. you only have 53 men on NFL rosters. The Cowboys roster is pretty solid at this point, and a lot of people say we need, certain things, but there's a lot available in this draft, right? A lot of the bigger names have gone, people that I had my eyes on. I totally think that the Joneses and Will McClay are really looking into a guard here at this pick. I think that they want to keep Tyler Smith for years at tackle. They don't want to. I mean, right now you have Tyron, who is old and getting long in the tooth, and he's playing tackle, and Tyler would move in. And then you have Terrence Steele out on the other tackle next to Zach Martin. I mean, if you get a guard, you kind of shore up your line for a long time, right? And Mike McCarthy wants to run the ball. But then on top of this, we need a wide receiver. So you know what I'm going to do? He's in the chat. Thomas, talk to me, man. Who would you pick? You said DW or Zay Flowers. So you're saying Darnell Wright or Zay Flowers. Give me your definite pick here, Tom, and I'll go with your pick.
Is he talking about Darnell Wright or Darnell Washington?
No, he's talking about
right.
Darnell
Washington went off early.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you aren't looking at corner here, man. Deontay Banks, I think, is a good value for you.
Well, when you already got two. You got two of the best in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? You have Diggs, and then on the other side,
Gilmore.
We got Gilmore. So I mean, there's no reason to go corner at this position. Zay Flowers looks good, but in my mind, like I said, if I'm gonna go, I'm thinking he's going with Zay. All right, we're gonna go with Zay, Tom. We're going with Zay.
So it's interesting too that you as a Cowboys expert, when you're looking at what they're saying here that you need on this simulator, running back, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, and you immediately went offensive line.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. Like when you start thinking about this draft has a lot of people in that 2 to 4 in the 2nd to 4th drafting grade. That's where you're going to get more of your capital, right?
More
we're
value.
At the fringe. Yeah, we're at the fringe at the end of that. So you got to look at who's the first round pick first, and then you can get a running back late. You can definitely get a defensive tackle in the 2nd or the 3rd, and a linebacker is going to be there 2nd or the 3rd, maybe even the 4th. So it's no need to really jump on those right now.
Do you think the pick of Zay Flowers puts CD Lamb outside more and Zay Flowers more in the slot? Because I know you move CD Lamb around a lot too.
Definitely, and I think Tom thinking here is that you can run double slot a lot with Zay and CD, and that causes problems because now you have Brandon Cooks on the outside, and then you have Michael Gallup on the outside. So those two slots are going to work.
And that covers up not having as good a tight end as you did last year. I like that.
I like Gibbs. I would have drafted Gibbs.
But the issue is, and for Dallas, they got to be able to protect the quarterback because look at the defensive lines that are forming in that division. Look at the Giants. Look at the Commanders. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They're coming, and they got defensive linemen. So I feel the pick. You got to protect the quarterback.
I like it. I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it here. I didn't think of offensive line. I didn't think of Zay Flowers. I like it. I like the pick.
Yeah, he said Cooks and CD are more effective in the slot, but both can play outside. Absolutely. On the clock, we've got the Buffalo Bills, man. And who's making this pick for Buffalo?
Payday.
Hey, what's up, man? Talk to me. Buffalo needs defensive line help, linebacker help, cornerback help. They literally need a running back as well. I don't even understand why that's not on this list. But talk to me, Pay.
I can't let well, I don't think that's really a need for them. I was going to go say Darnell Wright. I can't let him sit any longer, but it's not necessarily something that they desperately need. Not to say that you should be drafted for need at this point in the draft, but Deontay Banks would be somebody would fit right in for them. So that's who I would run with.
Go ahead and pick Deontay Banks for Buffalo. I think that's a good pick. Rod, talk to me, man. How you feel about Deontay Banks joining that Buffalo squad?
I think it's a good pick. It makes him better. I was looking forward to drafting Deontay Banks, but he's gone now. But
He out of here. Hey, so on the clock, man, we've got B Dirt, and he know all about his squad. He know what they need. I'm not even gonna address these needs. Talk to me, B Dirt. Talk me through your pick.
A couple of years ago when we took Chase, I was pounding the drum for us to take an offensive lineman, take Penei Sewell, and I'm glad we didn't. So part of me here wants to reach and take Jahmyr Gibbs because I think he'd do exciting things. But, man, I cannot let Darnell Wright fall here. I like Broderick Jones a lot, but I think the flexibility of Darnell Wright helps us. And I think this means Jonah gets traded in this draft as soon as we hit click here and take Darnell Wright at 28. Jonah's gone. We cut we cut the running back.
Mixon?
Why am I blanking? Nick, we cut Mixon, and that'll free up over $22 million for us. And that goes into a signing bonus for your man Joe Burr. So let's protect him. Darnell Wright.
Love it. Love the pick. Hey, so BP, what do you think about this pick of Darnell Wright here at for the Bengals at 28?
What position is he again? I missed that.
Tackle who could play guard.
I guess it's they need to protect Joe Burrow, that's for sure, because he's been running for his life the last couple of years. So I'm good with it. It's not it's not a sexy pick, but what did he say about Joe Mixon? Is he's still on the team, right?
Mm-hmm. He is. They're asking him to restructure. I don't think he's going to stay on the team. I think he's going to end up getting cut. I think we'll end up taking a running back in the second or third round.
Yeah, because that Jahmyr Gibbs could be a good replacement for Joe Mixon. If it came down to that.
I gotta be honest with you. If Darnell Wright isn't on the board and no tight ends are on the board here, that I would reach for Jahmyr Gibbs before I would reach for a tight end, because I think you can get an impact tight end still in the second round. I think there's the two running backs that separated themselves from the rest of the pack in this draft.
I want to go back to the Eagles pick at number 10. Who do you guys have for that? Was that Bijan Robinson?
Bijan Robinson. Yeah.
Bijan
Okay.
Robinson.
I was just making sure. And then Miles Sanders is where is he now?
Carolina.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tate, let me talk to you, man. What do you think about this Darnell Wright pick?
I think the Bengals need an additional O-line. I think B Dirt mapped it out well. I guess the versatility of Darnell Wright. I'd have to say the biggest faller in this mock draft we done is Broderick Jones.
By far.
Will we all agree?
Yeah, agreed.
Well, and they have him at ADP here at 23, and I have him higher than that. I think around.
Yeah, I would put him around 17, 18. Yeah. But yeah, I get it. B Dirt wants the versatility, somebody that can play both left and right. And then, like he said, you cut Joe Mixon, and they're good running backs to be had in the second and third round. We're talking about. I like the kid Chardonnay. He knows him from Michigan.
Yes,
at UCLA. He'd be a great second or third round
Very
pick.
similar to Mixon, too. He's not going to break it for 70 yards, but he's going to give you a lot of those 6 to 12-yard gains.
Agreed.
Yeah, love it, man. So next on the clock, we got the Saints. We got the Aints here at the 29th pick. They need a guard, a center, a defensive line, and a cornerback. Who's got this pick?
The one Saints is Rod Simpson Jr.
Rod,
Yes,
talk to me, man.
Yes, sir.
Who we looking at it at number 29 for the Saints?
You know what, with the Saints, man, you know, they're running back. He got legal problems right now. That Gibbs pick looked very nice right now, but I think they picked up Carr, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think right now you got to protect him. So I'm gonna go with Jones on this pick, Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Good pick.
It's a good pick. That's the best value, the best player left on the board, and a player that they could use.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Somebody and here's the comment. Can't believe Wright or B Jones fell this far. I'm gonna tell you, it may not be these guys, probably won't be these guys, but I can guarantee you that there's somebody on draft day that's gonna slide way further than we thought and would make it to a team and like make some teams Christmas.
Correct.
I think it was definitely a great pick here, Rod, for the Saints. I agree. That's gonna help Derek Carr tremendously. Definitely help him tremendously. We got the Eagles on the clock at 30. And who's making this pick?
BP.
BP.
Yeah. All right. Well, I used to live in the Philadelphia area back when I was a kid. So I always have been an Eagles fan as well as a Browns fan. So I was pulling for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And, one of their key pieces is Jason Kelce, who's getting up there. He's 35. He's from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, just like his brother, Travis Kelce. I got the Eagles taking his replacement, John Michael Schmitz, a center from Minnesota.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Nice pick. I like
Good
it.
pick.
Tate, why you say it's a nice pick? Talk to me.
Because I mean, the Eagles are good at every position right now. I mean, so the picks they need to make, like they made last year, is to build for the future. So I took Bijan Robinson at 10 for the Eagles. Makes sense. He can play right away. John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota, center, is the best center in the draft. Kelsey's the best center in the NFL. Bring him in a year or two early to be groomed and taken under Kelsey's wing. And then you put him right in, you plug him in when Kelsey's gone, and you don't miss a beat.
Love it, Pay. I see you in deep thought over here. I want to hear what Pay got to say about this one, man. What do you think about this, Pay?
I echo what Tate said. It's a home run. I like it.
It's a home run. Wow. That's a good pick. It's validation right there, man. So we got at the 31st pick on the clock, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City these are the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. They need a wide receiver and a defensive line help. Who is making this pick for Kansas City?
That's you, Ahmad Bell.
Man, listen. Y'all gonna laugh at me, man. For real, because I honestly really want to just go ahead and jump on a wide receiver here. But man, Pat, he make wide receivers good. He can work with scraps. That brother is proven that he can do what he need to do with scraps. But what they do need help with is that defensive line. They definitely need some help with their defensive line. And there's a guy here that I think is underrated and not talked about enough. And I'm looking at him, and I think he comes off the board right here. And that's Azoma for Kansas State. I think Kansas City grabs Azoma. He's really, really good. He's really, really fast. He helps cause problems with Jones over there on that defensive line, and they get busy. They start getting busy and getting to the quarterback. Definitely, G, what you think about this pick?
I like it, but I think you just set a steal up for the Steelers, but I'm gonna see here in a second. So I like the pick. I think the kid from Kansas State is underrated.
I think the Steelers again had two really good picks here that fit what I think you guys would like to fill in here. A win-win either way, no matter who came off the board here with Kansas City. You're sitting in a catbird seat right here, man.
Oh, for sure.
Tate, what do you think about that pick? I saw you move a little bit when I made the pick. So talk to me about it.
I pull up my pants leg so I can scratch my legs while I move. But the pick, I think, is a good pick. I just think I like the defensive line position. I just think there was a better defensive lineman available for Kansas City and what they need. You put somebody by Chris Jones like Brian Brzee, and I think that would be the better pick. But that's definitely still a good pick. Dude is underrated from Kansas State, Azoma. But I think just make Brian Brzee would have been the better pick.
All right. Last pick of our mock draft, man. And we thank you guys for rocking with us all the way through. The very last pick we got here, man, is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
For
So
sure.
talk to me, man. You guys need a tackle still, you need a linebacker still, and y'all got your defensive back. So talk to me, G. Who we talking about?
Well, the thing that me and Tate know, because we've been following the Steelers the whole way through mock draft, where the coaches are spending time at, who they're spending time with, and what players they really like. Tate and I know that the front office of the Pittsburgh Steelers sent their whole entire team to Clemson University to look at 3 players at Clemson. There was 3 guys that they were like, listen, if any of these guys are sitting there at 32, we're looking at them. One guy is Trenton Simpson, but the other guy that I love Trenton Simpson, but the other guy, if he's sitting there at 32, we got Cam Hayward. He's a little long in the tooth. Let's get his replacement, who was the number 1 ranked high school football player in the country and had an outstanding career at Clemson University. Brian Brzee, defensive lineman out of Clemson, goes 32 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, love it. Love it. So, Rod, what do you think about this pick, man? I'm coming to you next, B-Dirt.
Hey, I think that's a great pick. The kid is a baller, you know, and he fit what the Steelers do. He's a grinder. He gonna give you 110% every game.
B-Dirt, what do you think about this pick as well?
I think he's a great player, but for the style that Pittsburgh plays with that 3-4, when you watch the film on Brzee, his wins are going laterally, going across the face of the defense and stunning. I think he fits better with a 4-3 defense. I'd like to see him go to Kansas City, and I would like to see Mozzie Smith go to the Steelers. I think he's more of a body filler, takes up, powerful, and going to clog the middle of that line.
We got the bias sign that got put up. We got the bias sign. Look,
hey,
Yeah, Mozzie Smith is good, but he's 49th maybe at that point, not 32.
yeah.
His ADP is coming off at 32.
Tate, I got a question about to ask Tate. Tate, if Brzee's there, how fast can we get the car to the podium?
At 32?
Yes, sir.
You better call Sha'Carri Richardson to run that thing up there.
Full sprint.
Hey, look. So to go over the draft, take us over the draft, man. Take us through 1 through 32.
Assuming I can see this.
I think your best pick at 49, by the way, would be Jack Campbell, and I agree with Big G on that if he falls.
Hey, Ma, go ahead and read it down, man.
I got
It's
you.
not big enough for me to see it on my screen right here.
I got you.
I know number 1's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, but I don't want to. Go ahead.
I got you. Number 1, Carolina took Bryce Young. Number 2, C.J. Stroud came off the board at 3. The Arizona Cardinals picked Will Anderson. At number 4, Anthony Richardson went to the Colts. Will Levis went to Seattle at number 5. Jalen Carter went to Detroit at number 6. Number 7, Christian Gonzalez, Afton's favorite player, went to the Raiders there. Jackson Smith and Juka went 8 for the Falcons. We have at number 9, Pay's team, Peter Skoronski, the tackle, went number 9 there. At number 10, I'm still scratching my head about this one, but hey, if it happens, we're in trouble. Bajan Robinson there for the Philadelphia Eagles at number 10. Number 11, Quentin Johnson, I think is the biggest steal in the draft for Tennessee. Just hopefully the quarterback will be able to get him to rock. Number 12, we had Houston taking Nolan Smith. Number 13, Tyree Wilson, edge from Texas Tech, went to the Jets. Devin Witherspoon went to New England, the cornerback out of Illinois at number 14. Miles Murphy, the edge rusher, went to Green Bay at 15. Paris Johnson, the Ohio State tackle, went at number 16. Joey Porter Jr., JPJ, went to the Steelers at number 17 pick. At number 18, Dalton Kincaid went to Detroit. Number 19, we had Darnell Washington going to Tampa Bay. Number 20, we had Kalijah Cansey going, a defensive lineman for Pittsburgh, going to Seattle. At number 21, we had Michael Mayer going to the Chargers here, and Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC, went to the Ravens. At 23, the most controversial pick, I won't even ask that question. We had Hayden Hooker going to the Vikings. At 24, we had Brian Branch going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, safety out of Alabama. Lucas Van Ness going to the New York Football Giants at 25. At 26, we had Zay Flowers going to the Dallas Cowboys, wide receiver out of Boston College. 27, we had the Buffalo Bills taking Deontay Banks, the cornerback out of Maryland. Darnell Wright went to the Bengals at number 28. Good pick there, B-Dirt. Number 29, Broderick Jones, tackle who fell all the way down in this draft, went to New Orleans Saints. And then at pick number 30, John Michael Smith went to the Philadelphia Eagles at center. And 31, Kansas City picks up Felix Azuma at their defensive edge there from Kansas State. And at pick number 32, Brian Brzee left the board and went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Question, and I'll start this out. B-Dirt, who was the winner in this draft, in this mock draft? Who do you feel like was the winner?
The first thing that pops out of listening to those picks and who picked what is that Big G just can't draw with inside the lines. He just doesn't color inside the lines. He's always outside over here drawing in the box. Man, that Giants pick I really like. But I mean, you got too many people here. You got a couple with multiple picks. I don't know, man. I maybe I'm biased. Go ahead and get signed, G. But I'm gonna go with the Lions. I mean, I think the Lions made a big impact.
I like. Okay. What was the biggest pick for them that you think is like, hey man, this is it right here?
Well, I think the Carter is what it's going to be. I mean, is he that generational talent that he projected out to be, or is there some more truth to some of those, work issues or things of that nature? The guy turns it on when he's on film. I know that, and he disrupts the game. He had a lot of stuff going off outside of the. With his pro day coming on and having all that stuff with the court and I'm gonna give him a little bit of a pass on that, but that's gonna be the thing. Is that kid a legit, like all pro type defensive tackle?
Okay, G, who do you think was the overall winner in this draft?
Man, if we walk out of the draft with Joey Porter Jr. and Brian Brzee at 17 and 32. Katie bar the door, bro. The Pittsburgh Steelers walk out of the draft with an A+ draft. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. And we still got 2 more picks coming up in the second round at 49 and 80. Man, come on, man. It's a wrap, bro. The Steelers have the number 1 pick, the number 1 draft in the 2023 draft. It's not even close. Joey Porter Jr., Brian Brzee, it's a wrap.
Thomas said, I love it, G. Doesn't regurgitate other people's opinions. He got his own takes.
That's for sure, Thomas.
So, Pay, overall winner. Who you think was the overall winner in this draft?
The Chicago Bears. No. I think the overall winner. I don't think there's any definitive overall winner. If you scroll back up, just for the main part is. Multiple teams got that player that they desperately needed. They feel the need, and they was able to get the best player available. You can go off for the Eagles. They did that. You can go to the Lions. They did that. And then even at the top of the draft, Carolina Panthers, they did the same thing. So But if I'm to narrow it down, or better yet, give a ranking over who had the best draft, I would say Detroit at number one, Eagles at two, and then come around to maybe give you a surprise addition and say Seattle at number three.
Okay.
You think taking Will Levis at pick 6 is a win for Seattle?
I actually don't think Seattle would do something like that in real life, because I think that they didn't pay Geno, to draft their backup, draft his successor this soon. Even though
I think they would if Anthony Richardson was there. But who did Detroit take at pick 18? Remind me.
Dalton Kincaid.
Okay.
I think we got two impact players that start.
The thing with Seattle is they did get the best player available. Well, seemingly the best player available at number 5. They could have went a multitude of different ways. But doing that at 5, then coming around and hitting off a need and getting a good player at 20 was definitely a good look for them.
Yeah, I like it. So, Rod, I'm gonna pose a different question for you. So if you were looking at this, who got picked in their right place? Who do you think actually got picked at their right spot, and who's going to end up draft day Thursday? Who's going to be in their right spot? Who would you say? Give me 2 players who you say, okay, definitely these guys are going here.
Number 1, I would go with Robertson with the Eagles. At number 10, I think the Eagles got their eyes set on him. And the next one, I would probably go with Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to end up going to the Colts.
Like it. Tate, who do you think is going to be the biggest faller, the person that falls the most in this draft?
Falls the most out of the players that's been picked?
No, I'm talking about not our draft, but who, looking at these people, evaluate, because we went through these people with a fine-tooth comb. Who do you think is going to fall the most? Like, who do you anticipate falling?
I think from initial draft talk and the talking heads at the beginning of the draft season, I say the biggest fall is probably going to be Keely Ringo, cornerback Georgia.
I think so too, but I think it's a guy who literally could have a first-round grade, don't you think?
I see him a second-round grade most of the time.
I said from the start. At the beginning of college football season, he was the number 1 rated corner in college.
Yes.
And the precipitous fall, so from then till now, he's the biggest faller. I say Osiris Torrance, just because he's a guard, he have a first round grade. Because he's a guard, he could fall into the mid-30s.
And BP,
I think Ringo is going to be a steal for a team.
Oh, he definitely is.
He get with the right team. And they.
I do too, Rod. I wouldn't have been mad if Big G had picked him at 32 and we just doubled up on corners.
With his speed and instinct, I'd like to see him get somewhere that plays a little bit of zone, maybe blitz from the corner occasionally. I think he could have a really good impact there, Rod. I agree.
I was gonna get him with the Saints pick.
He's like, he was already ready. BP, let me ask you a question, and here's our last question before we actually jump into parting shots. As far as the players that were picked and we picked, who was the biggest steal in this draft?
The biggest steal?
The biggest steal in this mock draft.
I actually, to me, I think the biggest need, like the best pick that filled the biggest need, I think, is the Eagles at number 10 with Bijan Robinson. Because they ran the hell out of the ball last year. Their best running back left. They're set to make a repeat performance. So, they picked the best running back. So I think, to me, he fills the void. And going back to your original question, who had the best draft out of all these teams? I think Houston Texans. I like what they did here in our draft. Going back to, I like CJ Stroud a lot. I think he's going to be a winner. And then at number 12, they got Nolan Smith, who's also, very highly rated edge rusher from Georgia. So I like what they did a lot, and they need help. They're obviously a terrible team.
Hey, BP, real quick. I agree with you. Bijan Robinson is a number 2 or 3 rated player in the draft. He went number 10, so I agree with that. Taking his GM bag once again on that one. But question to you, BP, since you guys get the pick in the first round, what are you looking to get for the Cleveland Browns at pick 74? But if you can have anybody that realistically could be available there, who do you want?
Or say it again. You cut out for a second.
I said realistically for the Cleveland Browns at pick 74.
Oh.
If you could pick anybody in that area, that's the third round, right?
Yeah,
in that third round, who would you want the Browns to get?
There's a couple of guys that there's a guy, Derek Hall is an edge rusher from Auburn, and BJ Ojulari is an edge rusher from LSU.
Yeah.
So I got my eye on those couple of guys. I've done a couple of local shows here with the Cleveland guys, and those are some of my higher rated prospects. And that Jordan Battle, the safety from Alabama, guys like that.
Great look. Timothy Line said Big G Burner is Bengals trade first round pick because our guy won't be there. I don't think that's too much of a burner. Do you, B Dirt?
I've mentioned this a couple times over the past few weeks. If we don't have that real big impact, I can see us, trading back into that early mid 30s pick with somebody if somebody there has their eyes on it, because we're going to need all the picks we can get playing at inexpensive contracts over the next 2-3 years as we roll out somewhere in the $115 million range for 3 players. So that's going to be a lot going on with Chase, Higgins, and Burrow. So I think we're going to have a lot of rookie contracts playing well. So anytime we can get extra second, third round picks, we're going to.
Yeah, I like it. And I keep saying there's a lot of players who have a second and through a fourth round grade on them, and that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in this draft. Keep saying it. Thomas said Tyree Wilson, big candidate to tumble, in my opinion. Edge rusher from Texas Tech could, but he's a dog though. And I think a lot of people have, they feel like that he fulfills their need, especially if you're looking for a defensive end or edge rusher. So you guys, give me your parting shots, 30 seconds, and I'm gonna start with Pay. Parting shot, brother.
Bears win the draft. They're gonna take get all the tackles, all the special best players, and they're going to win the division in 2 years and be in the Super Bowl same season.
Ooh.
That sound like more than a hot take. That didn't sound like a parting shot. That sounded like a hot take right there. That's hot. That's burning up.
Big G morphed into Pay's body.
That is a hot take for real. All right, Rod, man, parting shot.
This mic is muted.
Can you hear me now?
Got you.
I'm going to take this shot right here saying that the Cowboys is going to make a run in the playoffs next year.
Oh, I believe that.
How deep?
How deep?
You get to the bowl?
I say we're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, heard it here first.
Yeah, I think we're going to the Super Bowl next year. In another one.
Not that every Dallas Cowboys fan doesn't say that, but you heard it here first.
Don't be surprised if Clark Phillips from Utah sneak into the first round.
Oh, I like it.
Ooh,
BP.
there's a spicy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like I kind of said before, I think, in my opinion, C.J. Stroud will be a better pro quarterback than Bryce Young. That's kind of like a parting shot for me. And I'm not sold on short quarterbacks, so we'll see. To me, that's like a less than a 50% success rate for Bryce Young.
Wow, I hear that. Love it. B Dirt, give it to me. Parting shot, baby.
So normally on the homies, this is where I'm doing someone dirty. So now that I'm not doing that for this segment, I'm going to give a thank you to all the listeners out there. everybody that likes, subscribes, gets on that first listen with the notifications. We have Vegas, Great Ones, Sherry, Thomas, Claude, Tim, Afton, Kathy, the other people that follow us week to week and listen and really support us. Thank you. It means a ton to us. It's why we do this, and it helps us getting more content out there. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Tate, talk to me. Parting shot, baby.
Hey man, I wanna second what B Dirt just said. It means a lot to have everybody in the live chat that always supports us on the homies and then follows us over here to the KnoItAllZ. We appreciate you all. Regarding a football tape, I think I agree with what Claude said. Cowboy fans say that every year. Been saying it every year. It's about 95, 96. So that's nothing new. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I hate to be biased like Big G. I mean, because I feel like Big G is always biased. It seems like BP, my man BP, is biased towards Ohio State too. And I think CJ Stroud is great, but I would say that the Steelers, if they walk away with Joey Porter Jr. and Brian Breezy, oh, they won. They couldn't be happier. So be sure to check us all out. This is the KnoItAllZ. This is the KnoItAll crew. You got the homies inside of that. Big G, myself, B Dirt, and Pay. Follow us on the Homie Podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. I meant to tell you guys we won't be on this Friday because of draft coverage, but we will be on Sunday after the draft, probably about 5 p.m. I think, maybe around that time, on next Sunday with the homies, and then we'll jump right from that to the KnoItAllZ here. So be sure to follow us, check us out. Myself, Big G, and BP have a Cavs Game 4 recap to do. We're not looking forward to it because the Cleveland Cavaliers got smoked again. But we'll be doing what we need to do to bring you guys that information. So thanks everybody. Peace.
Big G, parting shot.
I do the Big G burner every week, man. But I'm going to say something that it might be a burner, but I think there's going to be some validity and truth with this coming draft between the first and second round, which is Thursday and Friday's coverage. I believe that this will be probably one of the most controversial drafts that happened over the last 10 years and maybe with the next 2 or 3 years moving forward. Because the reason why is 2 reasons. There's so many similar players that have flaws that are top of the draft boards. But at the same time, the needs and the positions for teams are making guys jockey for position and move into position to where you're going to see a lot of reaches and you're going to see a lot of guys that drop. Unlike any other year, I think you'll get realistically 5 to 7 guys that should be top 15 picks that is going to drop in this draft, which is going to shake it to its core because guys want quarterbacks and wide receivers because this is a copycat league.
Hey, agreed, G. I like what you said, and I mentioned this earlier, man, that there's only 53 men can be on your roster, bro, and at this point, you got to look. Most teams, got 7 picks unless they, mortgage their future off. All 7 of those guys are not going to make the team. You're looking at 4 of those guys making it, 3 at the most. I mean, the Cowboys roster is loaded. Just like the Steelers, once they get their first top 2, those top 2 are probably going to make the team. Those other 2 are going to be on practice teams. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it, you have to hit home runs in the draft, and people are going to reach to try to get their guy. So I get it, and I understand it. Let's take these comments. Thank you, Afton. She said, Maud, I like he said, Maud, I like the show comparing Dak to other quarterbacks. That's something that I got in. That's on the Cowboys Global Cast. You guys could check that out. It's there. Claude said, parting shot, it's going to be an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl. Steelers 27, Eagles 24. Ooh. Man, that would be crazy. That would be wild. That would be really wild.
Claude bias. That's bias.
That would be wild. Sherry said that would be nice. Thanks for another show, and thanks for another show. Thank you guys for watching. Again, we echo that. I always end it with something that's positive, man. But I want you to understand your words create your world. And you have to understand that what consumes your thoughts will control your life. And if all of your thoughts are negative, you're going to see negative things happen in your life, and life is going to go in a negative pattern all the time. So you have to people say, watch your words because they become actions, watch your actions because they become habits, watch your habits because they become character. I mean, it's literally that kind of thing. It's the small foxes that end up taking us down a dark path. So make sure that your thoughts are always positive. Make sure that you're continuing to think in a positive direction and elevate. That's all I would say. I thank you guys all the time, man, for making sure that you come and you rock with us, man. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those bells and notifications knowing that we are here. Also, you can watch us on Twitter, man. We got a nice little following watching us on Twitter. And we appreciate you guys for rocking with us, man. I appreciate all of my guests. My little brother, Rod Simpson, for coming through. You definitely handled your business. You need to be a part of the Cowboy Global Cast. I don't know why you're not. We're going to talk about that. Pay, I appreciate you. Pay always says a little bit, but it's always powerful. Definitely, BP, thank you for coming. B-Dirt with the awesome takes. That man is a wealth of information. I give him heck, but he is that guy. And Tate, who tries to be the know-it-all that knows it all, but he's not. I am. Definitely Big G for his hot takes. Man, I thank you guys for rocking with us. We out of here. Peace.